Hey guys, it's Jordan here from Switchwatch. Hope you're having a great day. Today I've got a review of Garage, or Garage for my American friends, and this was provided to us by Tiny Bill, so thanks to those guys for providing a review copy so I can tell you if it's worth your hard-earned cash or not. Before we get into the review, just remember we are giving away 40, yes, 40 Nintendo Switch games. There'll be a link in the description below to find out how you guys can join in too. Anyways, let's get on with it. It seems like top-down twin-stick shooters are the in thing these days with indie games, on the Switch at least. We've already covered a vast amount here at Switchwatch, and Garage is yet another to add to the list. How does it stack up against those that have come before? The story for Garage keeps it pretty simple, but it does try add some interest to the gameplay. In fact, I think the opening sequence is really well done. You are Butch, a former drug dealer who emerges from the boot of a car and into the post-apocalyptic setting of Garage. Burning cars and dead bodies aplenty, with no signs of the living, Butch enters into the depths below, eventually coming into contact with a mysterious secret agent who helps guide his way. Obviously it's not anything new or unique, but they have gone all out with the backstory, which I can appreciate. There are notes lying around which you can read into, as well as TVs which give some really good and often disturbing images about what's going on in this world. I found these very enjoyable, even if they were few and far between. Overall, it's a pretty good story. I actually quite enjoyed it, and I was always interested to see what would happen next with Butch and the woman he's trying to help. The audio is a pretty good effort too, lots of tense sounds with infrequent, harsh beats, very reminiscent of a B-movie of the 80s. The publicity for this game states that it was inspired by those types of movies, and while I can see it somewhat in the visuals and gameplay, it's actually the music where it really makes me believe that. There were lots of moments of quietness though, to add to the tense atmosphere too, but you do have your more exhilarating moments when fighting bosses, so it does have a bit of depth to the soundtrack. The game looks pretty nice. The top-down perspective with 3D models works well, and the environments, while often quite similar, do look the part. Animation is a little low, and enemies walking around generally look like they're sliding or hovering above the floor, rather than actually being connected. Still, the effects look good, and I like the scanline filter put over it to give it that extra retro feel. It may sound like an odd complaint, but at times it just feels a little too dark in places. I know it's supposed to be related to horror and add atmosphere, but there are ways to do that without making the player squint at the screen. It's just a minor complaint though, but I especially noticed it in handheld mode. I really struggled to see what was going on sometimes. As far as performance goes, it seemed to be pretty solid all round, except when reaching checkpoints. When you reach certain points in a level, the game will save automatically and jerk the game immensely for like 1 or 2 seconds. These checkpoints are usually placed as such in non-important areas, so it doesn't affect how well you play the game for the most part, but it's just a little unexpected, and it's something you used to see a lot back in the Wii U days, and I have to admit it was quite a shock seeing it back in full force on the Switch. Hopefully this will be patched in the future, but who knows. From a full-on top-down perspective, you explore the abandoned environments of this underground garage and fending off the undead and whatever else lurks beneath. Initially you only have your fists and an axe to fend off the enemies, and it really doesn't leave a good first impression combat wise. Close-up fighting is a little clumsy. It's one of those where you're always guaranteed to take a hit, it seems. Sure, it's all in the timing and there is a dodge roll you can do, so you probably could get good at it, but actually it's not that long until you get a firearm to quickly make you forget about close combat. The gunplay is twin stick in nature, moving around with the right analog stick and aiming with the left. Shooting with the ZR button, it's pretty standard to what we're used to on the Switch, especially us here at Switchwatch having reviewed a ton of games of this style, such as Judge, Tesla vs Lovecraft, in fact most games that came from 10 tons. It's a classic gameplay technique that you can't really go wrong with. You get a variety of weapons as you make your way through the chapters, including handgun, shotgun, Uzi, M16. It's all just very safe and normal, but enjoyable too. There are some interesting aspects to it, such as the enemy varieties. Not only will you have zombies to deal with, but even humans with guns at points. Then there are the rats, which are super difficult to hit with bullets, so the best technique is to let them come at you and then give them a quick kick with the ZL button. As stated, you'll probably take a hit with how the close quarter combat is in this one, but it's better than wasting all of your ammo, right? Health is regenerated with health packs or snacks found on the floors or from bashing vendor machines and stealing their goodies. It's fairly generous in this regard, although I did play on easy mode. I'm not sure why I did that, but I think it was just because it was the default option on the menu and I just pressed A. But anyway, yeah, I don't know, maybe in normal and hard mode, maybe the health is a little lower, I'm not sure. But in easy mode, it's very, very generous in this regard, as you'd expect. It's not all full on action, which I do appreciate. There are some slower moments where you are exploring the dimly lit surroundings, avoiding hazardous things. Sure, you're never too far away from a zombie or two popping out as you kick down a door, but I like the fact there are moments of rest, which helps build up a lot of tension. Some games are over the top action, which do have their place, but I like that Garage was a bit different in that regard. It does like to vary the gameplay up from time to time. For example, there is an escape scene where you're riding on a motorbike. Then there's the hold the fort section where a horde of zombies rain down on you while you man a heavy machine gun to mow them down. As stated before, it's all very safe and standard. Rarely does it get adventurous and attempt to do its own thing. That's not necessarily a negative though, at least if it's done pretty well. And thankfully, it is. Garage is fun to play. So this game comes in at £13.49 or $14.99, which is not a bad price for the quality on offer, and what the competition offers too. Tiny Builds seem to enjoy this price range for their games, and it's a fair one. You're getting a very solid, enjoyable game, and while you can always wonder if it could be a bit cheaper, for what other games are priced at these days, it's not bad. I think it's pretty decent value for your money. Overall, Garage is a good, solid title that I can easily give a solid recommendation to. It doesn't cover any new ground, but it's a well put together offering for those looking for a nice bit of unapologetic action with a horror theme. Sure, the combat, especially the close quarters kind, isn't quite as good as it could be, but they're still fun to be had exploring the darkness and taking down the undead and gruesome monsters that lurk in Garage. A nice, easy 7 out of 10. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this review of Garage. I sincerely hope you enjoyed it or found it useful. If that's the case, do us a favour and hit that like button. Regular Switch watchers, leave a comment below telling us what you think of Garage. Is it something you would be interested in playing? Let us know. Don't forget we're doing a massive 40 game giveaway you can join in with, where we're running it in 4 parts over a month, so it's super exciting. All you need to do is follow the Gleam link below. As always, be sure to head over to the website at least once a day, switchwatch.co.uk, for news, reviews and features. I've been Jordan from Switchwatch, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.